And that's about it. I could stay here all day and tell you how much of a but yeah, it's just a waste of time.
Even if nobody was waiting. Even if it makes you go, what? Again?
What? Again?
The Diva of Despair takes the stage once more. Junko Enoshima, the 53rd.
The 53rd? What in the world did you come up with that number all of a sudden?
There you have it! Once again, the mastermind is Junko Enoshima!
Junko Enoshima, the 53rd?
The 53rd? Oh god. Hopefully I'm not right this time again. Don't tell me that they've actually made Junko Enoshima robots. And there's over 50 of them. I'm never gonna get rid of this broad.
Tsumugi, what's the matter? Aren't you Tsumugi Shirogane? Our friend who survived with us?
Sorry about that. You can go ahead and forget about Tsumugi Shirogane.
Because I'm just a character.
Whoa.
You know, a lie.
Tsumugi?
Sorry to all her fans out there. If any of you even exist, that is.
How in the world are you able to change that fast?
A lie?
Tsumugi Shirogane was nothing more than a cover for me, the mastermind. Ooh, calling her your friend? Ugh, it's laughable, really. Really, I'm gonna laugh.
Are you serious? You're the mastermind behind this?
But why? That face and that voice. It's just like...
Junko Enoshima!
Except now she's also able to change it to different people? Like, flawlessly? I mean, the voice, the uniform, the hair, everything. All so sudden. Wait.
I know, right? Oh, does it make you fall into despair?
You're killing me with your despair. You're like an ex-girlfriend of mine that just keeps coming back to me and haunt me for attention. No, I'm not gonna fall to despair like you want, goddammit.
Well, does it?
No.
No, that's not possible. Junko Enoshima is dead.
But why did you call yourself the 53rd?
As history repeats itself, so does Junko Enoshima.
Yeah?
As you can see, I am a perfect reproduction of Junko Enoshima.
So, you're just a freak pretending to be Junko Enoshima, huh?
No, a perfect reproduction.
Nah. You're not real. You're just pretending to be Junko, aren't you?
Perfect reproductions
No.
are exactly the same as the original.
But they're still not the original. You're copying the real Junko Enoshima.
Her logic is impossible to follow, much like the real Junko Enoshima's.
Whatever it is. You're the actual mastermind of this killing game, right? So if we kill you, then that'll be the end, correct?
Say mean things like that. Besides, killing me never ends the game.
It never ends the game? What do you mean?
She's bluffing. Let's just kill her and get it over with.
Hold on, Maki. It's not that easy. And if you do kill her right now, then who knows what will happen afterwards. Not to mention that we have to learn when the world is going on with this killing game.
Wait, if force is necessary, it should wait until after we see what she...
No need, Kibo, because this class trial is over.
What? It's already over? Oh, but I just showed up.
You killed Kaede, and Monokuma covered it up with a false narrative. The class trials are rigged, and this whole game is illegitimate.
Oh, that. Right. Yeah, I definitely messed that up. Sorry about that. So...
So? Is that all you have to say?
The viewers won't accept that kind of apology. You gotta stop the killing game!
Huh? The viewers?
It seems like you're on the wrong track, so let me explain.
Okay, so first, I'll start with the event that inspired me to plan this killing game.
Oh boy.
That was about the time the meteorite impact started intensifying.
Did she just start some big story on her own?
Yeah, she does that sometimes. Just don't question it. You will suffer less.
I knew of Hope's Peak Academy's Gopher project, and my inner Junko told me.
Crushing the Gopher project, humanity's last hope, would be the perfect despair.
That's when I took over the killing game I devised. I forced those selected as humanity's last hope to play my killing game.
And then I took the name Tsumugi Shirogane and sneaked in among them.
Yeah, right. Took the name. Uh-huh.
Did Kokichi know about this? Wasn't he a remnant of despair? He was your comrade, right?
Huh? Comrade? Junko Enoshima doesn't have comrades.
It's like, you don't need a remote after you've thrown out the TV, right?
The remnants of despair are just a bunch of despair fanboys and fangirls. But I am despair itself. I am a god of despair. Kokichi was just one of my believers.
Right. And I don't believe that one bit. About Kokichi, that is.
A god wouldn't be comrades with one of their believers, right?
Then Kokichi didn't know your true identity either.
What a hopeless existence he led. To the end, he had no idea the object of his worship was right under his nose.
I don't care about your story. Tell us about the people watching. Who's this killing game being shown to? Where are the survivors of humanity? There's nobody watching.
Huh?
There isn't, you say.
We were the last 16 people alive, you know? Who could be watching? Humanity is gone.
No, you're lying. If this isn't being shown to anyone, why care so much about rules? You're the one who keeps talking about making the game interesting. For whom?
That was just a part of my perfect reproduction.
Your what?
I just perfectly reproduced my own killing game is all. Just like the old Junko. The original was meant to be shown, so that's how I made mine.
You just wanted to recreate the past killing game. That's it?
Yep, that's it.
Really now. So, you are just some obsessed fangirl who cosplays as Junko Enoshima and tries to recreate the killing game because you can. And you love Junko and Despair. At least, that is what I'm gathering out of what you said. And even then, I am having some doubts.
There are no survivors of humanity. Things are just as you recalled. That is the truth of the Ultimate Academy killing game!
No, that's wrong!
Oh dear! I am so surprised!
Maybe we all remember that there's no one left out there. But how do we know our memories are real?
Yeah, just stop pretending to tell us fake stories. And just explain the real deal. You know that we were gonna ask about the validity of the memories we got.
What do you mean by that? You think your memories are wrong?
There's something that's been bothering me about our memories. Here, look at this book.
The complete history of Hope's Peak Academy?
This book contains years of research about Hope's Peak Academy. Nothing would indicate this book is a prop. I believe the information here is accurate. But there's a lot written in here that differs from our memories.
What is different?
To know that for certain, I'll need everyone's help. I want you all to tell me everything that you remember about Hope's Peak Academy.
Alright. In that case, let's create a bonfire in the middle here and tell us some stories. I mean, crap. Do I have to hear about Hope's Peak again?
We just need to talk about what we remember from Hope's Peak? Okay.
Yeah, apparently so.
So it started with the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. That event originated at Hope's Peak Academy, inspiring wars and terrorism around the world. It would not be hyperbole to say that event brought despair to all mankind.
And it was all caused by a single high school girl.
Yeah, it was me! Junko Enoshima enrolled in Hope's Peak Academy as the ultimate fashionista. But my real identity was the ultimate despair. In order to cover the world in despair, I put my plans...
Wait a minute. Something doesn't add up here.
Huh? I detect no discrepancy in my memory banks.
Yes. Everything we just said is just like we remember it. But it doesn't match what's written in the history of Hope's Peak Academy.
Can you say... By just one girl, you said. I'll determine exactly why later. For now, I need to identify discrepancy.
So you gotta play Spot the Difference! Point out what everyone is mistaken about in their memories of Hope's Peak Academy. All right, time to play some Danganronpa trivia!
Hooray! This is gonna be oodles of fun.
The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history.
That event originated at Hope's Peak Academy, inspiring war and terrorism around the world.
The cause of all that despair was just a single high school girl.
Huh.
Student of Hope's Peak Academy.
The ultimate despair! Junko Enoshima!
I did everything in my power.
To spread despair over the entire world!
Something about that statement doesn't match with the history. Is the ultimate despair really just one person? Yeah, I see it now. There's the discrepancy.
The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history.
That event originated at Hope's Peak Academy, inspiring war and terrorism around the world.
The cause of all that despair was just a single high school girl.
Alright.
That's wrong! One high school girl started the tragedy, the ultimate despair, Junko Enoshima. At least that's what I remember, but that's not what this book says. Ultimate despair doesn't just refer to Junko Enoshima.
Yeah. Let's not forget that Junko also had a sister. And not to mention the remnants of despair. They were the ones that spread the despair after the tragedy started.
It refers to a group and the movement that came after. To put it simply, there's more to ultimate despair than Junko Enoshima.
This is the first time I've heard about this. Wasn't Junko the ultimate despair?
That's what I recall as well. That label should only apply to her.
Coincidences sure are scary. Everyone misremembered the same thing.
Coincidence? Misremembered?
No, it's no coincidence. I know there's a difference in these memories.
And that's not all. There are other discrepancies I'd like to point out.
Ugh, does it even matter? I'm bored already.
Just shut up.
So, let's continue where we left off. Junko resorted to different tactics to cover the world with despair. The killing game between the 78th class of Hope's Peak Academy, for example.
They were locked up and forced into the killing game by the ultimate despair.
But boo-hoo. When I, the one who started it all, died, events were set in motion.
And the world began to move towards restoration.
Then the fight between the Future Foundation and the remnants of despair raged on! But the worst-case scenario was avoided! Yay! A happy ending.
Not yet. There are more points that conflict with the history. I'll point those out next. Alright, let's play Spot the Difference once again. Round 2, Despair Cito Edition.
The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history happened because Junko had prepared countless ways of spreading despair.
Like the killing game of the 78th class of Hope's Peak Academy.
They were held prisoner by the ultimate despair and forced into the killing game.
Oh, I have some bad news about that. The events that my death set in motion are only now reaching their climax.
So the remnants of despair and the Future Foundation are still fighting. But for now, we've avoided the worst of it.
It's different from our memories after all. What's the contradiction?
The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history happened because Junko had prepared countless ways of spreading despair.
Like the killing game of the 78th class of Hope's Peak Academy.
They were held prisoner by the ultimate despair and forced into the killing game.
Oh, I have some bad news about that. The events that my death set in motion are only now reaching their climax.
So the remnants of despair and the Future Foundation are still fighting. But for now, we've avoided the worst of it.
Still fighting.
The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history happened because Junko had prepared countless ways of spreading despair.
Like the killing game of the 78th class of Hope's Peak Academy.
They were held prisoner by the ultimate despair and forced into the killing game.
Oh, I have some bad news about that. The events that my death set in motion
Hold on a second.
are only now reaching their climax.
So the remnants of despair and the Future Foundation are still fighting. But for now, we've avoided the
Trapped
worst
by
of it.
despair. Could it be what I think it
The
is?
biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history happened.
78th class of Hope's Peak Academy.
They were held prisoner by the ultimate despair.
Huh. Yep, there you go.
Wrong!
They weren't held prisoner. At least,
It wasn't
Not
the ultimate
entirely.
despair that trapped the 78th class in Hope's Peak Academy. It was the class themselves. They shut themselves in.
yeah. They shut themselves inside the academy so that they will be safe from the tragedy that spread in the world. So that they will be safe from the ultimate despair. Little did they know that the ultimate despair was inside with them.
Shut themselves in?
Why would they shut themselves in?
It has to do with the Hope's Peak Academy shelter project. During the tragedy, the 78th class trapped themselves inside Hope's Peak Academy for protection.
So our memory of the 78th class being trapped by the ultimate despair?
Are you saying our memories are wrong?
Oh yes. This discussion alone proves that the memories we got of Hope's Peak Academy is different, it seems. And we all know that there is only one truth. If those memories are wrong, and clearly there is something going on here.
It just means those documents were written all half-assed. There's no need to worry about it. Your memories are all correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And they are gonna believe you, eh? Nah, I don't think so. This isn't just the only thing that needs to be discussed.
What you've been saying isn't consistent. First you said it was just coincidence.
Oh yeah, you're right, Shuichi. Good catch. Yeah, she also said that too.
Is that so?
Let's just move on. I want to talk about one more thing from our memories. It's about the rebuilt Hope's Peak Academy that we were attending.
What about Hope's Peak Academy?
There's no doubt that the 16 of us were students at Hope's Peak Academy. We heard it had been rebuilt and was accepting applications for talented students again.
Wait, what did you say? Accepting applications? Accepting applications for talented students. That means that the students were... That means that the students were the ones that sent requests for entering the academy?
And so, we gathered at the brand new Hope's Peak Academy.
Since Hope's Peak Academy was large, we were all in separate classes. But there's no doubt we were students of the new school.
Just like I thought. There's something wrong there. But why? Why are our memories so different? Well, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that we will play another round of Spot the Difference in just a second. Let's catch that discrepancy, Shuchi.
Hope's Peak Academy was rebuilt. And with that, recruitment of talented students resumed.
We found out. We came to the new Hope's Peak Academy.
The new Hope's Peak Academy was a huge school, which is why we were all in different classes.
But we're all the same! That's right. We were all students of Hope's Peak Academy.
Why? Why are our memories different? What is going on here?
Hope's Peak Academy was rebuilt. And with that, recruitment of talented students resumed.
We found out.
Recruitment.
We came to the new Hope's Peak Academy.
That is
The
one
new Hope's
thing.
Peak Academy was a huge school, which is why we were all in different classes.
But we're all the
Well,
same!
it sure was huge.
That's right. We were all students of Hope's Peak Academy.
Hope's Peak Academy.
Hope's Peak Academy was
Let me
rebuilt.
see if I'm right about
With
this.
that,
There is something
Recruitment of
There is
talented
something going on
students.
with what Kibo said before. Let's see. Yep,
That's wrong!
you fucking bastards.
We remember Hope's Peak Academy taking applications from talented students.
Yes. Taking applications from them. But where I'm coming from, that is not how it worked.
But that's not what's written here. The Academy did not take applications. All of their students were scouted.
And it has always been like that. The ultimate students couldn't do anything but wait to see if they would ever be picked by the Academy. If I were to think of an exception, only the reserve course was where you can pay a hefty sum to enter. And it's people that are not ultimates to begin with.
Scouting? I've never heard that.
I wasn't scouted. I applied to Hope's Peak Academy on my own.
Me too. I chose to come to Hope's Peak. At least, that's what I remember.
And if that is what everyone remembers, then clearly this becomes even more suspicious.
Are you saying we're remembering it wrong?
But what if this book's just wrong? Researchers make mistakes too.
Maybe so, but I'm not getting all this from just the book. There is other evidence as well.
And, well, I am thinking about this. I am thinking that maybe they changed the rule and such. That it wasn't just about them being scouted, but instead they accepted applications from students themselves. Maybe that is the new rule that they accept, that they implemented. But I don't remember such a thing like that. And besides that, it is like what Shuichi said. There is other evidence as well. And when there's all of these discrepancies piling up one after the other, then clearly there is something wrong.
Other what?
The killing game we're in now is one that began with Hope's Peak Academy. So this is the third game after Hope's Peak and Jabberwock Island. But remember what Rantaro said?
Yeah. If we are to look at it all chronologically, this would be considered. Actually, hold on a second. What did you say, Shuichi? You said third game. Wouldn't it be the fourth? There was also the final killing game. It's whatever. So this killing game would follow after the one. No, I cannot dismiss that possibility. Wait a second. They don't remember the final killing game? And not only that, this killing game would follow after the ones mentioned, but what Rantaro said in his video makes this seem a bit off. Well, the truth is, this isn't your first killing game. You're the ultimate survivor. You survived the last killing game.
But Rantaro's name wasn't listed among the past participants of the game.
Yeah. I don't remember him at all. Like, really, the only thing that makes me remember when it comes to past killing games and the tragedy is that he looks like an offspring of Nagito and Monica. I mean, you have the green hair, he looks like he's part of a boy band, you can rip his shirt in half, and girls would faint at the sight of him. He's like the perfect mixture for fangirls to obsess over, just for looks, and for tragic pasts and all that.